call the meeting to order. Can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes from May 14th and May 28th?
Motion.
Anyone want to second that? Thank you. All in favor? Yes. Awesome. And then we have public comments up next. And it looks like, I don't know if we have anyone online,
Got none here.
but we have a couple.
It's a little slow to respond here.
Oh, there's Alan, good. It's a little worried.
Right.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning. We're just waiting for Allison. I clicked on, but didn't. Okay. Good. I think that's everybody.
To anyone, is any public comment from people online?
Hi, I'm here for the Milton Times to see if there's anything updates on anything.
Great, thank you.
Who's this for name Perkins?
Is Diane Bond.
Oh, inclusion, whatever sports.
Which is a topic.
Okay,
So,
I guess it would be.
yeah, so, inclusion sports, Greg, do you want to, tell us a little bit about what you have going on?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you for reaching out. And I know we have a lot of community members in Milton who have reached out to us to try to put this together. So I can give you kind of a brief background and typically how we work with rec departments across the state. So Inclusion Sports got started in 2021, kind of with my background is in special education, and I'm a behavior analyst. So I've worked with kids with various disabilities for 16 years in centers, homes, communities, clinics, you name it. And with that background in parallel, going through the youth sports program with our own family, right after COVID, our 3-year-old was trying a local soccer program. We're on the North Shore, so a little bit further away from you guys, and it didn't go well. He left crying, my wife left crying, just basically from the setup of the program where we didn't feel supported that he could participate. The group sizes were 25, 30 kids. It was a couple high school volunteers, and if the young kids weren't able to just be plopped in and played, it wasn't going to be a good fit. So um, we went home kind of defeated, looked up maybe more supportive programs that existed, inclusive programs, and that kind of pushed us in the direction of Special Olympics and some more Best Buddies type programming, which wasn't a right fit for our family as he does not have a disability. So we found that there's this middle ground in the sports industry where kids that might not fall into your typical plug and play didn't really have a chance to thrive in the youth sports world. So with my background in helping kids with disabilities and getting them up and running, I went to work kind of thinking of like, how can I bridge my background plus the youth sports world? And that's where I got started talking with Lisa Drennan. Are any of you familiar with her work with Merge is her company? She trains rec departments nationally now.
Oh, wow.
Know Lisa?
No, I'm not familiar.
Lisa's fantastic. So she has her own company called Merge. She trains YMCA's, rec departments on how to improve and implement inclusion strategies. So her and I got together, and with my behavior background plus her inclusion background, we were onto something pretty unique. We brought in our PE consultant, Allie. She's designed all of our sports curriculum. She has 16 years experience globally. She's taught PE in places like Russia, China, Brazil, a great fit for our organization. The three of us got together, made the curriculum for the program, the training for all of the coaches. We launched in partnership with Danvers Recreation, where we live, in the fall of 2021. So we're coming up on our 5-year anniversary, which is really cool. And we've continued to grow since then. We offer programming up on the New Hampshire border, up to Newburyport and Haverhill. We're down in Canton and Easton, kind of near you all. And then our goal is to continue to expand as we're having conversations with other organizations in New England. So the way we operate is kind of that bucket of partnering with rec departments. We're fully mobile. So we bring the equipment, we bring the coaches, deliver the program, pack up, and leave. So it's really win-win for our partnering organizations. They can enhance their program offerings that they can give to their communities, and we handle all the programming types. So Allie's designed our curriculum so that we are multi-sport program. We have 12 sports that are in our curriculum bank that we offer. And typically, how it looks when we partner with the rec department is over an 8 week series, and we'll teach two sports over the 8 weeks. So we'll do 4 weeks of one sport and 4 weeks of another sport, give the kiddos an opportunity to try different things, see if they're passionate about something, see if maybe they really don't like something, without having to invest in a 3 month soccer program like we did and having to leave after 2 weeks. Gives the families an opportunity to see if their kids like something, another opportunity for them to maybe play baseball in the backyard where they didn't know little Johnny actually liked baseball. So that's kind of how the model looks in terms of our sports programming. Everything's non-competitive, so we're playing games like Shark Attack and Alien Tag and Clean Your Room, just breaking down the sports into the movements and games through fun and engaging activities. We have small ratios of kids intentionally. So the most we'll have in a group is 10 kids, and we'll have two coaches for that. We group our kids by age. So our curriculum is for ages 2 to 10. So we'll have 50-minute classes as our program. So we'll do typically on the weekend mornings, we'll have 2 to 4 year olds as a group, and they'll go 9 a.m. to 9:50. Then we'll have 5 to 7 year olds as a group, and they'll go 10 a.m. to 10:50. And then we do go up to 10 years old. So some communities we have an 8 to 10 year old program. Some communities we stop after two classes, and some communities that third class reverts back to a younger age group. And that's just really the unique part about working with us is we tailor the program to whatever the community needs. Some of our communities we have three 2 to 4 year old programs. Some communities it's 2 to 4, 5 to 7, then 2 to 4. Some it's 2 to 4, 5 to 7, 8 to 10. So it really depends on what your community is looking for. And we're able to match that with our curriculum for kids ages 2 to 10. Um, in terms of
What
yeah,
kind of facilities do you typically need?
great question. So outdoors, we're usually in your parks, your little league fields, your t-ball fields, not a ton of space. Our program's 10 kids, so we really don't need a ton of area. A lot of our programs right now, we're in like the outfield of like little league fields, things
Okay.
like that. And it works out well for some of our program where we're doing like soccer and baseball. We'll play soccer in the outfield for 4 weeks, and then for the 4 weeks we'll use the baseball diamond. So we've been in the back of schools, the library fields. We're really flexible where we are, and we don't need a ton of space.
So can you just explain like costs and stuff?
Yep.
Like what's the typical cost and what's that model?
Yep. So for the 8 week program, we charge $200 for the family. And then whatever the rec department typically adds on a percentage of that to cover administration fees or gym space or things like that, they'll add on a percentage of 5, 10, 15, 20, something like that. And that gets passed on to the family. So a lot of our partners are doing like 10% on top of the 200. So it'll be a cost of like 220 to the family, and then 200 would go to us and 20 would go to the organization, the community, or the rec department.
So I think there was a question too, just it was around registration. So I believe we were collecting the registration, but I think somebody said that you were collecting the fee. I think that was the question, I had heard originally. So are you collecting the money or are we collecting the money or, and
Yep.
how's that look?
Yeah, so the rec department or organization collects all the registration information, and the fees and all of that, and then we just invoice at the conclusion of the program for the number of kids that were in the program. Um,
That
so
makes sense.
do you guys use a website to handle registrations?
Yes.
Yeah, so we've worked with like MyRec and like some of those other platforms where we share the rosters so we can see the kids on it and give parents information about our program. And then we just send an invoice at the end of the 8 week program that covers the cost. Try to keep it as easy as possible.
I think the biggest question is field space, right?
Yeah.
And availability.
Yeah, when,
Yeah,
what is your time of year that you're looking for?
Yeah, so I think as we're getting into summer, for us, the earliest would be like, I'm sure your indoor space is even more difficult. But then
We don't have
potentially, is it hard?
We don't have an
Not
individual,
all federal schools.
it's
Yeah.
also the schools.
Okay. Do you guys work with the schools to set up programming, or is it like school-based?
Yeah. We work through the schools,
You make the programs and they host it?
yes.
Yeah, we've had that. So that's kind of our model. So we could basically, going back to your question, is starting potentially in the winter. If there's indoor space, we have like floor hockey and basketball. We do a lot of indoor programming across the state in that way. A lot of our partners don't have access to schools and don't have access to their own rec halls. So generally we'll do a spring and a fall program with them. So right now we're finishing spring programming that will go through next weekend. Some organizations will start their summer program that we have, and then we'll do a fall program, which we have ready for most towns.
Just real quick too, is it once a week, like weekly?
Yep. Yeah. So generally it'll be like Saturday or Sunday morning and once a week for the 8 weeks. So if we wanted to try for next spring, it'd be something like the end of April through the end of June. And then the fall is right after Labor Day to like Halloween time. So it's 8 weeks, once a week, take off like Columbus Day weekend. So it's like basically a 9 week program with like 8 classes. So that's what it generally looks like.
And Greg, you provide the staffing.
Yep, we bring equipment and staff. So generally for the rec departments, it's setting up registration, taking the fees and the information, and then providing the field space. We show up with the coaches and the equipment and deliver the program.
And then I know you mentioned there's 12 sports.
Yep.
Can you
Yeah.
just run through those?
Yeah, so generally the fan favorites that we usually do, soccer, baseball, we do a flag football. Track and field's been a really fun one for the kids, which I didn't know it would be, but we have these like foam javelins and fun little shot put things, so it really gets the kids engaged that way. Floor hockey, basketball. Um, I think those are the main ones that the kiddos pick. We did just add like a cheer and a golf. So we're really trying to meet some different needs that some community members are trying to look for. But as we get started, I'd recommend like those first 6 or 7. We could try 2 of them in your community.
okay.
Generally,
I'm just curious, like, did you reach out to Milton Town Rec or how did they have this come about?
there we have one of our regional head coaches is a town member, lives in Milton, and then also one of our coaches also lives in Milton, Patty Sanchez, kind of brought this all together. So this is generally how we talk to rec departments. We'll have these meetings, and then I have kind of a summary sheet that I'll type up and like send that details some of the things that we talked about. And then we can just stay in touch in terms of timing, field space, things like that. But I can just kind of summarize all the things we talked about in an email.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
Any questions you have in the meantime, I'm emailed on one of the threads, so feel free to reach out with any questions.
Right?
Sounds good.
Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Anything else on that? We're good?
We're good for now.
All right. The Tucker Playground Group presentation.
Honestly, won't be long. I'm Haley Byron, one of the co-presidents of the Tucker PCO. And I'm Marie Bowman Silva, also a co-president of the Tucker PCO.
Okay.
You got one?
So I apologize in advance for those of you who've heard us speak about this project about a million times. Sorry. So we, as is laid out on the sheet that we just passed out, the Tucker Playground has not had any meaningful improvements in over 20 years. The other elementary schools have had some improvements. So we are trying to build a totally new playground next summer. The budget is on the back of the sheet. It's $1.4 million. We have raised $530,000, maybe a little bit more as of today. And we are hoping to kind of tell you a little bit about the project, why we need to do it, and we have some renderings to show you of what it will look like. And the reason that we're here is because we're hoping that this new playground can be a resource for the town. We know there's a lack of field space, a lack of space in general, and the new playground we're hoping can help maybe be a resource for the town and be a little gem in West Milton.
And so the project came about because we have had continuous injuries on the playground. We've had kids go to the emergency room. And it has been a frequent source of discussion on kid safety. And then looking around at the other projects or others and how they had improvements is what really led this. We started last year around this time with the project, forming a committee or just. Yeah, and we originally with Bill Madden, who did some preliminary design ideas just to help us figure out like the scope of the project and whether it was just kind of updating things or a full redesign. I think one thing that came out also is the space is so small and the space is really not fully utilized. I think we're the only school that doesn't have the ability to do recess and gym at the same time. We really want to make sure our kids are having the same outdoor experiences as the other schools.
So for those of you, I'm sure everyone here has seen it, but that's kind of what it looks like right now.
There is like the climbing wall is cautioned off because it's not usable anymore. I think one of the big sources of injury is on the what the kids call the pitch where soccer is often played, but it's a multi-use area. There's a curb and the ground is really uneven. And so kids are constantly chipping teeth, breaking bones.
So once we formed the working group and saw what was possible, CPC gave us some money to hire a landscape architect, which we did. And they kind of got to work right away and they sent out a survey to the whole community, townwide, school-wide, figured out what people really wanted in that space. This is kind of a summary of the feedback. And they started to come up based on that with some preliminary concepts. We took those preliminary concepts to the community at large again, and had the kids and teachers kind of vote on what they liked. And meanwhile, as this is all going on, the landscape architects are working directly with the design committee, which includes the gym teacher, a teacher, parents who all have relevant backgrounds in that area. And lately, Bob Mayhew has added, like he's started to come to those meetings too as we get further along so that the town is kind of fully aware of what's going on in the design phase. So from those preliminary concepts, this was the voting that happened.
Yeah, we had a community gathering. The kids also, they created packets that were done in class with the teachers, getting their feedback too.
They voted with stickers. Yeah, you know, how else? And then we came up with the playgrounds, the renderings. So this is what the space we're hoping would look like. You can see there's a large multi-use field in the middle. There's basketball courts that also have different paintings on it for different games. Brand new play equipment with rubber surfacing underneath versus right now all wood chips. And we've had to maintain access for the dump truck, but it's gonna become like a track. And over here is a rain garden, and there's a total redevelopment of our outdoor classroom, which is used all year round, particularly by certain teachers, maintain it all year. And they grow, there's a garden club, a very active garden club. And we just got a grant, or we're hoping to get a grant through the schools where more food that is grown there will be used at Tucker and then essentially in the rest of the district. So it's a very, very active, tiny outdoor classroom, but it's really a huge focal point of the curriculum.
There's also a performance area too.
I have the performance area. I have 3 boys, so I'm more focused right here, but we're trying to make sure it appeals to a lot of people. And just some different, that's kind of a cool picture of what it could look like.
Very nice.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of views, we won't go through.
Is there water play? Is that what that is?
The rain garden helps with runoff and from a sustainability perspective,
This is where the whole playground drains too, and but right now that's part of the soccer pitch, and it just kind of like goes into like this.
And there's like erosion that naturally occurs, so it's kind of embracing, there is like a kind of a nature nook in there, it will not involve water play, but.
Yeah, just to see the outdoor classroom area. There is another playground out front, the pre-K playgrounds, but we're not touching that with this project. It's not in as much disrepair. We don't know what's happening with the programming that's gonna be run in different schools, so that is not part of this project. Yeah, there's a bunch more pictures, but
They might want to see.
if everyone wants to see it, we'll show one more. I know you guys are different, that. So on the sheets that are in front of you are kind of the breakdown of the budget and what we've raised so far and where we hope to raise the rest of our money. Because we're kind of really committed to the timeline of breaking grounds in summer 2027. It's gonna be a summer slammer where we start the day after school gets out and finish right before school begins, with maybe some small parts of the project being completed during the year, but we have to make it usable, obviously, for the start of school in 2027.
I have a few questions.
Yeah.
One would be basically like this gets set up and then who controls the program for it? So let's say like the field, who, is it the school?
Yeah.
It's the school that's gonna say, and then you guys would be able to like meet, let's say like this inclusion sports or something, want to run a program, right? Like,
Right.
would they be able to use that and set it up, like 4 evenings or whatever?
I assume that operates the way it operates now, where if anyone wants to use school space, the school would make that determination. Once the construction contract is signed, we've been partnering with, the PTO has been partnering with the town for a lot of this. Once the construction contract is signed, it will be fully a town MPS project. We're trying to get it there quickly, but I suspect that it will operate in the same way as the rest of the school.
Do we use the Tucker gym for anything?
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah, for Friday.
Yeah,
Can you go back to the plan real quick too? So it's the basketball, so obviously you have a little field, but then it's like a half court basketball, right?
We can show, it's 2 hoops next to each other,
Okay.
because the trash truck has to be able to
Yeah.
turn around right here.
The gym teacher also wanted to be able to have like 2 kind of games, she got the use of the space. would be
Yeah, the
better,
principal
so-
and the gym teacher wanted the hoops next to each other, so that's where they're at, right there.
Nice.
But particularly having, like, you can kind of see if one were to draw on big soccer fields. We're missing a little bit of a corner, which people in my house have taken objection to. But I feel like you could go the other way, you could build a smaller triangle, you could run some level of programming out of that space.
For the rain garden, was that, by the landscape designer, did they put that there, or were they in conversation with the town only? Because I know the engineering department is, as part of the open space, was looking for an area for a rain garden.
Yes,
So that might answer that question, that maybe could help and offset some cost.
Really?
Yeah.
And we were not aware of that.
Yeah,
they want
So-
to put it, the parking lot, the Andrews Park.
right, but maybe there would be a better option, and maybe if they're already planning on doing that, there's maybe some.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
We have no
And divide
idea.
it.
That feels
Yeah.
gratuitous.
This is another, or another basketball.
We can put you in connection.
That would be really
So
helpful.
So you can have at least a conversation about it.
Yeah, I know that the landscape designer is also working with the staff to try and like incorporate certain like, vegetation planning that would be used during for curriculum base, which is.
Have you gotten any feedback on the surface of the field?
Yes, so like I said earlier, Bob Mayhew's been involved and we had a full conversation, a full meeting about what could grow there potentially. Obviously, we wanted to really explore having a grass field. That was everyone's preference. However, grass would require not using it for a year in order for it to take hold, which means the kids at Tucker wouldn't have a playground for a full year. And we had, select board member Driscoll come out and take a look. And kind of everyone who's looked at that space, given the size of it and what it would require, like the off period it would require, and the heavy use it gets all day and on the weekends. It would be a dirt field, essentially. You couldn't put grass there. So we have priced out turf. That is what is a part of our budget, because people, all the powers that be and people who know more about this than we do, including our landscape architect, do not think it's feasible to have grass grown.
And right now it's asphalt.
It's asphalt, it's uneven, broken asphalt, so it's not like we're taking a grass field and ripping it out.
No, I love it.
Yeah,
I really do.
but we hasn't taken it off the table. We're having a memo prepared right now about the pros and cons, the viability of grass, because we really want to fully explore that. The preliminary conversations, that's where we're at.
And the maintenance alone on it will yield,
Yeah,
you know,
that was kind of the feedback.
Yeah.
It'd be some sort of full-time job to keep that grass.
Yeah.
And eventually we'll have to retire from.
Yeah.
The next 50 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, we wanted you guys to be aware that in the pipeline, we hope that happens, and if there's any questions or suggestions. Or ways that you think, even to what we just discovered,
Right.
to support, we'll take all the help we can get, we are holding ourselves to a very fast.
And I know you guys have some state funding.
Yeah.
You've reached out to.
Yeah.
See,
We've submitted our eligibility application
yeah,
for this round of funding.
yeah,
And we've applied to different grants. We got the state funding, and then we have a federal grant we're waiting on. Which is still there. You can see it online, where it checks its progress daily.
Yeah.
But we have her.
Yeah, President chose it as a community funding project to push through, so it's in my push.
Is that 250 included in your 530 raised, or is that part of the,
That's
It's part of the 530.
yeah,
okay, so you still have a $1 million delta?
yeah,
900,000.
Okay.
yeah.
it's only
Yes, within that, we have the
We have the 450 that has moved right along.
from the Presley community
Yeah.
project funding. We've submitted for
300 to CPC, the second round.
and we're doing outreach too.
So we have different grant applications. All of what we've applied for and what is out there would get us to our goal. We don't have like a gap that we're not trying to cover. But obviously, we don't know what
you might not get the full.
we might not get the full, so
Right.
we are always looking for, and we're continuing to apply to grants.
Yep.
And if you got the full,
We got the full.
you guys are good to go, or is there still a little delta you need to, okay?
That's it. I just wonder, like, this is why we gotta get that open space committee going to get
Right.
that thing finished, because then it unlocks the.
Right. Right,
Yes, I was looking at that grant actually and realizing that it wasn't quite
Yeah.
something that we
It's
could.
been for,
Yeah.
yeah, so that committee, like.
That
needs
committee,
to-
an
it
email
needs to-
to us,
Yeah, so I think
And
it's,
that's due soon, I think, for the
yeah,
next.
it's been
Yeah.
like in the works for 3 years, so hopefully they'll get it tied up and.
does the open space committee and the lead on that, have they heard from you guys? Cause that
And
would
it's
help,
actually, no, they're
um,
for the, like that grant specific.
yeah,
Huh.
they just sent us an email. It's, I think Avante
Oh,
Brady,
right.
Yeah,
who's
He's like
like the
the assistant
assistant
town
planning director.
okay.
So I can send you his contact
That'd be
info, it'd be nice if he knew
Yeah,
that there's,
for
and then there might be a little
Yeah.
more.
because we actually are just not eligible for that grant we were looking at, but.
Right.
Where you won't be until they finish that study.
Okay.
So like, this committee
Yeah.
needs to finish it, they're almost like, they should be able to finish it quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
been like
think
a
it's
long
due in
time.
July or something, but so if they want this year's.
yeah,
Well, even more, if it's due in July, you guys haven't even met.
yeah.
I'll
But,
get right on it.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, Well, it looks great.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful project, I
Awesome.
think, if you don't wanna come back. You wanna make a motion to support this so that we can write a letter for them for CPC.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to come back, we can just
Yeah.
write you a letter
That
for a
was great.
support, so I'll make a motion to support the project with a letter of support for the CPC
Second,
application.
second that. All in favor?
Uh,
Aye.
beautiful project,
Thank you.
Yeah,
good
I-
luck, good luck, try to raise as much private funding as you can.
You guys have
I
raised
know,
like 100,000 privately?
Privately from the Tucker community, only we raised 110,000 right now.
That's great.
In addition to our PTO operational budget, so from our community, the zero is $160,000.
That's amazing,
Great.
outstanding job.
That's it for our community.
beautiful, beautiful project. So,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Excellent, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be in touch, we'll send that along.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, guys.
All right, next up we have Ty and Bond. Ally and Ryan, thanks for sticking around.
Yeah.
Of course. Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing okay. I see the order of the agenda has some Lower Guile turf project update below us, and I think that kind of plays into our conversation today. Rob, do we want to keep our update in front of that one, or do you want to do the Lower Guile update first and then talk about where we're at?
I mean, we can talk about it at the same time. That's fine. I
Okay.
mean, I think the bigger conversation here is specifically regarding any park improvements, the talk of whether turf, grass. I think, it's all on the table, and I think the last time we spoke, Ryan, is that we kind of have to take a step back. And if we, and really take our time, whether we're gonna commit to a playing surface, right? What I'd like to do is just like look at kind of the improvements that are there, keep it on the table, right? That whether we do grass or turf or whatever, we're just looking at park improvements. So that, I think that's basically the gist of this as we kind of go through.
Okay, so just to kind of like reorganize my thoughts, Rob gave us a call, I don't know if that was a week ago or so, Rob, or a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
We were working on trying to finalize the report, a draft report to kind of talk through with you guys and send over to you guys. And Rob had given us a call and said two things are happening. One, the Lower Guyer field got passed, but it's up for potentially another.
No, it didn't even get, let's just say it didn't, we should take a step back and talk about Lower Guile. And so. Lower Guile itself, from what we now know, is the process is, we could be a year out from getting this thing passed. That's the realistic timeline for this. So we're waiting for the OADR opinion on that. It's gonna go back to the DEP. The opposition that is on this appeal can file an appeal in 30 days. Which, if they do that, it'll still be, we can't go out to bid or anything, so the realistic piece of this is we're on this continual track, right? And this project's been happening for 10 years, so. That's where I just wanna pause and say, we gotta be really careful because we don't know where that project's gonna go, right? And then, I don't know, between us, I think. I wanna have the discussion of like, should we have a discussion with the folks that are in opposition, right? Like, is it worth reaching out to them, Carolyn, right? To like, listen to them and like, what's the end goal for this project? Because if we're a year away. At least probably, it's a realistic timeline for that project, okay? So that's one piece of this, Ryan, and then the other piece is, of course, is. We want, you guys have looked at all these fields, right, for us, and. I had asked you, like, if we were to even move that project somewhere, I think that the general gist is we'd have to go through this whole planning thing over again. It's almost, which would be just crazy to even try to do that. So I think. Like, the Lower Guile field is the one piece, but as we go and look at other pieces, right? That I just think we have to be really careful on the conversation of grass and turf, because I think. we want to navigate that correctly, right? So I don't want to necessarily sell out and say, hey, we're doing turf everywhere or whatever. I think we should just keep that conversation open. And also when we're looking at any improvements, specifically like Flatley, we like Flatley, right? So, and it came to my attention that that park itself as well is not under it's not under the commissioner's control. That is conservation land. So that's a whole nother separate discussion, right? So.
But I think it's pertinent to our discussion because the last conversation we had with the Parks and Rec Commission was our approach to how we were going to meet the deficit in the field was we were going to add field availability by providing synthetic turf and lights down at Lower Guile, and we were going to add field availability providing lights and synthetic turf field at Flatley Field, and that's how we were going to make up our deficit of multi-purpose rectangular fields. And that's the way the report was headed. And so then we got this information for Rob that was like, hey, both of those may not be a possibility. Right. Or we need to work a little bit harder to understand the possibility of both of those. So we kind of pulled back and said, okay, let's talk with the Parks Commission a little bit more about how we want to approach it.
I'll say that the challenge, Ryan, here is there's a two-step process in this. And while I think Flatley is the right way to go about this, the Parks Commission has to get control over that. And the only way to legally do that potentially is a land swap of land that's, for instance, Ryan, the land that we have over at the town dump, we know it's useless. We went out there, we walked it, it's between two wetlands. We can't do anything with that land. So unfortunately, it's just another hurdle for us to get over that we would need to even have the conversation. But us even looking at this, it's news to us, right? That like, okay, it's actually conservation land and there's deed restrictions in this. So the only way to like surpass that would be to do potentially like a land swap of land that we have under our control that we can't necessarily use to swap out that we actually could use for Lower Guile. So all that being said, turf is very controversial. We know that. And so I think like we have to keep our minds open whether like we want to do any improvements there. And I will tell everyone here that the deed restrictions are very
on flat.
Yeah, you basically can't even excavate. So if we want to do like a grass field and we want to renovate a grass field, you can't dig. You can't put any like, you basically can't do anything. You can't put lighting, you couldn't do a lot of stuff.
Playground.
With the way that, no, you couldn't.
So question, go back to the purpose of this exercise.
Yeah.
One of the things that I know I came on late on this, but
Yeah,
one
okay.
of the things that I heard, and I agree with, was to show a deficit.
Yeah.
In terms of what we look at.
Yeah.
As the planners, that deficit still exists independent of this part of the conversation.
Yeah,
So if
absolutely.
one of the goals to show the deficit and why, in this particular case, improving grass fields doesn't actually help our overall situation, that still persists independent of the turf debate.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I would ask then, while I understand the caution, what is the purpose then of putting forward a plan that doesn't suggest that we're gonna have this deficit and actually may suggest the opposite, which is grass fields can be a alternative, when in fact we're suggesting in reality that's not true.
So here, I will say, I will say this, because we have to be very careful as we go forward, right? What I don't want to do is like shove down turf fields down people's throats right now. I think what you could do is say, listen, there might be some in-between ground here that like Lower Guile should absolutely move forward, talk with these folks to say, listen, we're also thinking about doing these other improvements. But even if I can get lighting on a field and I can do these other improvements, it maybe gets me to a place, right, that we can still do more programming there. And trust me, if I could just say, hey, let's do turf there and it didn't take 10 years, right? I'd probably be out of Milton by 10 years, But like that's my struggle with this. But I think for right now, I think we have to just say, listen, we're open to the idea of like, if we want to do any improvements there, we just have to be open to it. We can't say like we want to be.
But again, I don't think I'm suggesting we're not open to anything.
Right.
I think we're open to everything.
Right.
And again, I go back to, if I'm in opposition
Right.
of this, and I see that you have only grass alternatives, and then we come back later and say, now we want turf. I don't know that we don't start back from square one and turf opposition at some point. So I guess I understand what you're saying. There are options. This is not this commission saying we're gonna go turf everything. It is a recommendation
Right.
from a third party suggesting that if we're gonna make up a deficit, they think turf is a necessary part of that at some location. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And then that report would still say, hey, Parks Commission, if synthetic turf wasn't an option for you guys, the purchase of additional land or acquisition of land in which you could provide 4 additional natural turf fields would be a way to get there. Right? But we
right.
know right now that's
but-
probably not
So
likely.
I guess what I'm trying to say is we have a huge hurdle just to even get control over Flatley if we want it, right? So we have to in order to do that.
So I guess my question is, how does this report influence that part of it?
It could, so that's where I wanna be like very careful, right? Because if this report comes out and says, "Ooh," which maybe we vote for and say, listen, and this is the evidence, like, this is how we make up the deficit, is like. This is the synthetics here, we're not saying we're doing
I said
it,
there's optionality. You said we want to improve Flatland. The recommendation from Tiger Bond may be to maximize what we're suggesting. They, not necessarily
Right,
us,
right.
are suggesting that turf would be a component of that. But you have the optionality that if you can't do turf or choose not to do turf, that an improved grass field is.
then we may still have a deficit of 2 fields,
Correct,
right?
but I think to eliminate it completely.
Yeah, I think it would be. Yeah, at
Yeah.
this point, I think it's like, okay, let's see what, like. That's their recommendation, and then we see where that goes, right?
I think the priority for this entire board is for lower guys get turf. right?
Yeah,
We're all
100%,
doing
we
it.
are in 100% agreement, yes,
We're in a, hamster wheel right now.
right.
Because this project could end up just keep getting delayed. So I think first step is we've got to find a way to get that project done. I think that Ty and Bond is gonna give us their report. I think the report can say, if you put turf here, that's gonna help solve your field issue.
Right.
Grass can also go in this spot. We're not choosing one over the other, but it's letting us know the options. To me, the biggest problem is Ty and Bond has designed this beautiful facility at Flatley, and now it sounds like we can't do anything on it. And that to me is the bigger
We
issue.
can't do anything right now.
I was
now.
worried about having that piece out in the public. Like, here's like all these improvements we're proposing, and the Parks Commission doesn't even.
But I mean, I think it's fine because we're doing the work, right? It's like, I also think in order to get that piece, it's like we did all this work, by the way, then there's a reason to swap the land.
Right.
And by the way, Ryan, I think in your report, that's really important is what I think would be useful for you guys is to identify some of the pieces of land that is no use of us, right? Like, and what the acreage is. So what I heard this week is that typically in a land, if you're gonna swap land, and a 1-for-1 isn't great, so if you can get even more, right, land, then, and I don't know what the acreage is, but if you guys can do that piece for us, I would say the one that was at the town dump, which we've walked twice, right? And it's like worthless to the Parks and Rec, to make that a park, it would be a lot of work and money. So what's the acreage of that? And then I'm throwing another one out, like the one down by like Brush Hill Road, that's by like Neponset River. I don't think that's
That
very
little
useful.
triangle.
That little
Yeah.
triangle, but and I'm sure there might be others, right? Like clearly, I would.
The St. Mary's School one is one we've talked about. That's not a big enough area to provide anything.
But that's not ours though, so I think it has to be Parks and Rec land
Okay.
in order to do that. So what I will say is. I think we should keep our options open and just say, just like the Tucker people said, it said multi-use field. Like we don't say in the planning that it could be either one. And so I think where I'm trying to get to is I understand it's a deficit, but right now we can't even do anything at that part. So like I have to get over that one
No,
hurdle.
I understand that, but I think part of that report then also at some juncture needs to say that. And again, if we feel that this is appropriate, that part of this other plan that they're putting together is somewhat contingent upon the fact that under an assumption that Lower Guile becomes a multi-use facility with turf. And that still means we still have a deficit, which will only be exaggerated if the Lower Guile project does not move forward. I think that's part of the statement that has to happen. Otherwise, we're perception wise allowing an opposition to suggest, wow, you've got all these plans that don't include turf anywhere, you don't need turf.
No.
And I think we need to avoid putting ourselves out in that way.
Yes, 100%.
So
I think we're all on the same page with that. And we like, listen, we're trying to like best. I'm trying to find a solution, right, to the Lower Guile. And every time I comment, it's like, okay, well, we can go out to bid. Well, we can't go out to bid, right? Like I knew that. Like, so here we are again, a year away. So I just feel like, is there a way to have a conversation with these folks?
Yeah,
And maybe you can reach out, Karen, just to see, and so that's where I'm trying to put on the table. No, I don't know. And it may be impossible, but just, we all have to mentally prepare ourselves. It could probably be another year till that actually goes in.
I don't have a good answer.
I don't have anyone.
No.
But I think that's kind of the next step, Ryan. So like, I don't think we should pump the brakes. Like I love what you presented so far. And yes, it like best case scenario would be, and this is why I said like, if we could put one turf field there, it would be awesome. Because then it gets us a programming. I just don't want to say, we're gonna do this over the next year or whatever. So I guess this is another option at Pierce Middle School. Right?
Yeah, when Rob and I talked last week, he had asked just like, could we look at what could go at Pierce Middle School, if anything, like if Lower Guile funding couldn't happen down there, could we move it up? And obviously, you guys
It's too
hopefully
small.
can see the property's just not big enough to take on a field of that size, which is likely why it's never been developed or anything in the past. The other option I looked at, Rob, and I just want to show the Parks Commission, is like what could go there. So this is a 200-foot softball field. And so that fits. And so I was trying to like look at what other facilities in the community, if we moved a softball field to Pierce, could we put a synthetic turf field somewhere else or a multi-purpose rectangular field somewhere else? And ultimately the two that come to mind are Kelly and the high school, but it doesn't really gain us anything. It's really just what fits here. So I didn't see any gain.
I think it's a worthwhile exercise, right? Because at the end of the day, it continues to make the case for why we need Lower Guile, right? It's like, okay, at least you, like, even if we were to say, hey, if there was another spot, and then someone also suggested, like, what if we did it at Middle Guile, right? And we just moved it up. I don't think it changes the conversation at all. And in your study, it also, like, we also have the baseball field there and the way we use softball there. Like, I don't think you're gaining anything by doing that.
I tried to see if I took the softball field out of Middle Guile and just tried to pull a rectangular field, but I couldn't have two dedicated field spaces. So I couldn't have the full 90-foot diamond and the rectangular space in that area by moving the softball field to Pierce Middle School. So
I see what you're.
You know what I mean? I was trying to see if I could like gain a field space out of playing a shuffle game, which obviously costs more money than just.
But the big thing too is like that's a school, right? And they use the field, so they're not going to want a softball field. Right?
They're not going to want to go to the middle school to go play softball.
Right.
They want to play at high school.
Right. But I appreciate. Like I think it should be a part of your study, right? Like at the end of the day, we have these things. We looked at them, right?
Yep.
And it's just like it makes no sense to do that. But
The
yeah,
other
so
thing-
like everything that we show up on the Flatley field now, it's like okay. Now, according to this deed, that we have to get over that hurdle first.
Ryan, the behind Pierce.
Yep.
So is it, if you just show that again, so is that space? Is soccer the only sport that if that field was shrunk a little bit, couldn't play there? Like, could football be there?
Too small for
A
football.
full-size football doesn't have the length. You could play youth soccer there if we put a synthetic turf field there.
Okay, so that's the only sport
You play this.
that could be played there.
Yeah, football uses it for practice already.
They're using it. They bring lights in. The youth football league.
I know, the high school
Yeah.
football field used to be
Yeah,
there.
that used to be the Milton High School football.
Did they build a school after?
They did expand it, but
Added on to it, but
Maybe it made
it looks like the same.
I
footprint.
know, that's what I thought.
Interesting. I'm gonna look back through historical area. I'll see if I can't find that. It's just not long enough. So the football field is 360 feet. Like regardless, there's no alternative length for
What's
the
the
field.
length of this one?
That's a 360 by 180. So that's we gave width for soccer.
Basically.
Oh, yeah, it goes to the building, so this is the full one then.
Yeah. And so if I like your property line is like
And we're way out, yeah. I see.
Yeah.
and the building, sorry if this is too light for you guys. If I can get this
Got it.
out of the way. But your
Just laying
your
on
building's
top.
right here.
Yeah,
Fire lane is right here. So I would assume this is not
right,
not a viable option.
Viable, yeah.
no, it's,
Uh, the other thing we talked about the last time with the board was looking at the a concessions building at Flatley Field. I know that's all up for discussion, but I wanted to kind of update the board on some budget numbers. I had given you a kind of off the top of the head cost for uh, restroom building and kind of a pavilion. And so we reached out to this company that we work with often for concessions, restrooms, buildings at town parks, especially when we're in this planning preliminary stage to try and understand what costs might be associated with it and on a square footage basis. And so we took a shot at it. I just want to make sure like we're on the same board and the same, thought process as the rec commission. We basically have this large pavilion area out in front of it, 40 foot of pavilion space with a restrooms space at the back of it. There's a women and men's restrooms. There's a couple of stalls per each restroom, a little mechanical space in between. Side profile of it looks something like this. Obviously, the
Ryan,
coloring.
could you cut that like in half and take out one bay of like 20 or something?
Of course, we can. Yeah, whatever the commission wants. We just took a shot at it.
Did you put it on the plan? I'm just worried about the footprint of it, how big it is.
I don't think we're showing it on this plan at the correct size at the moment. But we can add it here at the right size. It's only like if we cut it in half, as you had requested.
I mean, it's great if it fits.
34
awesome.
foot. Yeah.
It looks really big.
The question was, does the restroom size seem appropriate? There's no like defined, like you must have, because we don't have stadium seating here. If you had stadium seating, it would say per X number of seats, you have X number of stalls, and that's just, but because it's like bring your own chair, it's kind of, up for interpretation. Eventually your code enforcement group and your engineering group would have a conversation about, do we have enough restrooms there? But from a parks commission and from a planning perspective, were you guys thinking a more elaborate space than that, or were you thinking maybe along those lines?
so is it 2 stalls in each?
Let me go back to the floor plan. The answer is yes. It's 2 stalls, 1 handicap stall, 1 non-handicap stall, and the
I think that's fine.
And then
Yeah, I mean, I would say you could even just do 1.
I know.
1 handicap for everybody.
Well, you'll be required. Yeah.
Okay.
But what's the cost of this?
So, to all in, let's just say about 600. By the time you bring utilities to it, the cost of materials in building is around 5, and then I'm leaving $100,000 to get utilities to it.
Okay. The biggest issue, right, is like, and I guess you said you solved it, is like if you have locks that automatically lock
Yeah,
during times or whatever, like you said, that's how you deal with it now.
Yeah, we put a mechanical actuator and a timer in this mechanical space. And so the Parks Commission will set that timer for when they want this thing to close and not close. There's always a panic bar on the back of the door.
I guess my biggest worry and like for Kevin is like, will someone destroy, like, there's a lot of vandalism and stuff, so like that's my biggest worry
Yeah.
for this.
I'm not gonna lie, it happens. We, right down the street from where I am right now, it didn't shut, it malfunctioned, the timer didn't, and the kids got into it and they tore all the partitions down. So, it's definitely something.
Do you have any cameras?
Like,
Yeah, I was
after that?
gonna say, like, is there any like retribution to this for like the people that are?
In that particular case, the parks had cameras, and the kid was silly enough to be parked in the parking lot the very next day as the town supervisor was there inspecting the damage. And so as he was walking out of the parking lot, he said, "Hey, that's the plate that was here." And he went and found the kid, and the kid ended up paying for the damages. So
Yeah.
yes, cameras can help with that situation, but
Okay,
obviously there's a
Yeah.
whole like pain problem of now the Parks Commission is dealing with these partitions that got taken down. They're going to front the money for it because they want it fixed right away for the community, and then you've got to go chase the there's legal aspects that have to chase down that money to get back. So yes, it's not, oh, we have a camera, we caught you, you pay for it. It's not painless, I'd say.
yeah,
So all of that being said is, we'll show it. We're so early on in this process. Like if you were going to actually do a design, we'll get more into those little details about panic bars and
yeah,
how we'll
whether
mock
you
it
do
up.
it or not, I mean, I think it's a big expense, right? And I would worry about like, vandalism stuff, but.
If I put this in the same category, there's no harm in putting it on.
Right,
It
exactly.
doesn't mean we're doing.
And you can always be, can always be beat out, or, but I do think, I do like the pavilion idea, like having a covered space that's open air. That like people can just like hang out with like benches or whatever,
Yeah.
like, and. I could see major use of that, if
Yeah.
families were coming to watch games, or you were wanting a picnic or whatever, I could see that as a nice amenity.
We will put it on the plans and include it in our cost estimating and go from there.
And then you have, like, you're including lighting on this plan, right?
Athletic field lighting?
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. Well,
Uh,
and I would think other park lighting as well, probably.
so that's a good question. We're not currently not showing other athletic field lighting. We could just show like a hold for some site lighting, and
Yeah.
whether it's bollard lighting, there might be a couple of parking lot lights to make sure people can
Yeah, like
safely get to their
maybe
cars and stuff like that.
Right.
We'll add a note.
So basically you have the 3 fields, new parking, playground,
Pavilion
pickleball court now.
and a new entrance out of to Neapontet Valley to help with a traffic circulation issue.
Oh, you created that new one. So that may be, that's a whole nother challenge, because now that land, Ryan, is actually Fuller Village's parking lot. Right,
Yes.
so.
It's not.
Right, so I think here's another hurdle, right? I'm not saying that we couldn't do it, but there's another hurdle that we'd have to like cross.
And what are
Do we-
we, sorry, I can't read.
Do
what
we
it says.
absolutely
What-
need that?
What is that?
So the whole idea was during one of the public feedback sessions we got was that when traffic goes to leave, this becomes a real pinch
okay.
point for traffic because we're having parking lot here, and everybody's trying to exit in one spot. And so the request from the public was, could we consider an exit that allowed this parking lot to go this way and these folks to leave out of this way? So we weren't like pinching down on each other. And so we put it on the plan as like an option. We probably should like maybe dash it and look at as an option. And as it gets to like a design phase, if someone was willing to take that on and talk to Fuller Village about it, then we can potentially use that space for that, but maybe not put it as like
Yeah, I would leave it on. I'm just pointing it out. It's another hurdle, which is already one hurdle, big hurdle there. I think. Back to like Steven's point, right? Like, I think the whole point of this study, I would say, Ryan, that we present the study how you thought about it, right? Like, if the only way to really get there with the fields that we have are with 2 synthetic turf fields, one being Lower Guile and one being another place, right? The challenge to this one, of course, is the getting the getting it under the Park Commission and everything else.
And the deed restriction.
And the deed restrictions and everything else. So I think that's fine to like wrap this up and just say, this is a consultant study, right? And that's how we get there. Or we need to find other land in town, right? To make up the deficit.
Rob, did I misunderstand our conversation the other day? I was assuming that the deed restriction was because it was under conservation control. Is there
That's correct.
Okay. There's not
But
a
I
separate
think
deed
deed
restriction because there's
is
something else here.
Conservation control. The deed restrictions still apply.
No, it's gone. That's the whole point to spot the land.
Okay.
If that's the case, we just tell Ryan to stop right now.
I know, well, that's what I thought,
No, no, no.
that's what I thought was if,
That, the legal route is, that's how you have to do it.
okay.
That's why I asked the question. I was like, oh God, if there's another restriction on top of this, we're
No.
really battling up a hill. Okay. Okay, then based on the board, just give us another week, I guess, to wrap that up, and we'll get these pieces incorporated into it.
I mean, as long as you guys agree, like, I think.
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
that,
I think we gotta present something, so.
well, yeah, and I would wanna go to the select board, right, to just present the evidence, Ryan, that says, like, this is how we would get to where we would be, right? But it starts a conversation, right? And I would just leave it as like, okay, this is a multi-purpose field here.
Do you want
And
me to
to
change
me-
the coloring it, Rob? Like, do you
That's
want
what I
this?
was thinking. I was actually thinking, can you just make them all the same green? But we can, so just so that we're not saying, okay, this is what's gonna happen, but in order to make up this deficit, this is how you would have to go.
Hmm.
We have to at least present it that way.
Okay.
All right. So do you think? I guess so, like, what's the next steps on this? You'll make these changes, and then are you going to wrap up your report?
And we're gonna send a draft to the Parks Commission by the end of next week.
And then I guess the other thing was, is were we gonna have a community meeting or something?
I think we should start there to present what this report.
Start with the community, have you guys present there, and I guess. Whether you wanted to do it in person or remote, Ryan, you could.
We can come out.
And then we should, I was thinking, do you think we can get a meeting for the select board at some point in July? Maybe it's like the end of July, like their second meeting in July or something. We can just arrange that with you.
My ask is that we do, if we're going to do a community meeting or either of these meetings, the select board or the community meeting, that we have them in July or August. My wife is due in September or end of August, and so I'm probably going to be on leave for September, and so.
Okay. Yeah, we would definitely do it, like, wrap it all up in July. I would prefer to get it done in July, Ryan, to be honest, like. I'll be on vacation 2 weeks in August, and I think a lot of people are on vacation, so.
We had a good turnout when we did our first
And it was
community
July.
meeting was
I would
July.
agree. Would we do it same space?
Yeah,
Potentially, so
it's hard to get
which would
that
we do
space now.
first, though,
Right.
select board or
We
the
should do the-
community?
I
Do you
think we should do the community first, so that then when we go to the select board, you can say, we've done this, we presented to the community, we got some feedback to hear what people say to it.
Do you
Just
guys want
from a cost perspective, that's these meetings are all under the original contract cost, right? I mean, we don't have to do any more additional amendments or anything.
I'm not sure about that, Bonnie. Let me go back and look.
I'm tying
This
up my
whole
year
thing's-
end, I wanna make sure we're all set.
I want to check our budget and where we're at. The whole thing has kind of gone on longer than I think we originally thought it would be, and let me check. If we can make it happen, we'll make it happen, Bonnie.
Great, thank you.
Great. All right. Yeah, Ryan, do you think you can be here for the select? I think it would be more important to have you here for the select board, but if you could be here for both, I think it would be great.
You
But
got it.
Bonnie, we had funding for CPC, right, for this, that was a lot more than what we had in the contract.
$1,981 extra.
That's it?
Yeah, because we paid out 42 point of the 44. That was the original, right?
That
And then the
doesn't sound-
additional was the 65 as the contract, right? So I could give you the breakdown. I mean, we have the additional,
That's what,
that's what I'm asking.
I'm
That's
saying
under the additional that we just did the amendment for, just to make sure if we do additional meetings, we don't need more amendments. So we already signed off the additional to cover the full cost of the contract.
right, so Ryan, I think, take a look at it, Ryan, if you can make it happen, but I also, if you could be here, I would rather have you here, and if we can get funding for you, then do it. I remember there was a set aside CPC money, it was more than the, whatever your budget was.
Yeah, I'll give you a
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
breakdown, that way, you know, we can make sure we're all talking about the same thing.
Okay. But I like the fact that we're talking about finishing this and being in July.
Yeah.
I'd hate for you to come twice, Ryan, if you didn't have to. So let's just think about that. You know, I don't know. I don't know. When do they typically meet? Wednesdays?
I think
Select board?
Wednesdays, every other meeting.
Tuesdays.
Would it be possible, like, could you possibly come out like two, like in where you just come out once and you didn't have to go back and forth, like we could do a meeting?
I've got
or
like
is it
4
easier
other
for you
things
to
in
come?
construction around you right now, so I'm
Oh, and
out
the
there
World
anyway.
Cup?
Not for the World Cup, but we've got a lot of stuff going on out there. So I'll probably just tag this up with another project, and so I'll go out during the day for construction, observation,
No,
field
but
meetings.
what I was thinking, Ryan, was to have both meetings like back to back.
Could you do the
Right,
community meeting on a Monday night
And
and then
then
a select board meeting on
Tuesday or whatever,
So you
Oh, I
don't have to
gotcha.
come back to Milton.
You know what I
Sure.
mean? And then could you couple that so you weren't traveling all the time? Would probably be easier from my standpoint too, because I might be, we'll just have to think about that.
Yeah, we'll have to look at the calendar.
The
Yeah.
only downside to that, guys, if the community brought a point up that we thought was worth incorporating,
True,
you don't get it. So
true.
you could present it.
Alright, well, we'll look at our schedules, Ryan, try to wrap it up, and then I'll at least get you back dates to figure out. I mean, those dates are set, the select board dates are set, so.
Okay.
And I think they meet on Wednesdays, but I could be wrong. I think it's Wednesday nights, or is it Tuesday?
Everything's
I
been
thought it
Tuesday.
Oh, it's Tuesdays now,
I think.
okay.
So we'll make
figure
a
it out.
request to go to select board. Rob, you'll take care of that piece in July,
Yeah, I'll take
and then
care of
we'll
that,
back into a
and then,
community meeting after that.
Well, then, so then we're also gonna have to try to get community space, right? So if the fire, that's like really popular now, right?
Right.
Is it hard to get that space?
It's hard to get that space.
Even in the summer,
I don't know, I'll
Yeah.
have to ask,
Okay,
so that's a new thing, so.
yeah.
So that would probably be
I-
option one, and then, I mean, council on aging.
Right,
council aging or the
Or the
library,
library,
right, I mean, because the school, which probably won't be a factor in the summer,
yeah,
uses the space now.
yeah.
Obviously, select board uses the space, you know, health department, so.
what do we think for, I'm just gonna. I'm looking at dates. What about like the 9th? Oh, do we think like what's a better night for people, do you think?
I mean, I would say the third week of July, just because people might be taking the 4th of July, that, like the 8th, 9th, that week
It
is.
can't be a Wednesday. We'll have the concert,
yeah.
yeah,
I was thinking like what about like a Thursday night?
I
think
would have
that's
to be the
fine.
4th week in July. Sorry, guys.
So the
23rd.
23rd,
Is that the 4th week? 1, 2. Yeah, that probably works. Yes.
so why don't we try to shoot for the 23rd, but then.
Or
For the select
30th,
board, I don't know when we would,
Then we're into the August for select board.
what if we shot for July 30th? Was that better for you, Ryan, or not? I think it's either the 23rd or the 30th.
Either of those work for me.
Okay, so Bonnie, can we look at those two dates?
yeah, for either space, COA, or obviously we'll look at the firehouse.
I may be coming back on a cruise, but I should be here on the 23rd.
Stevie, you're around those 2 dates.
Yep, just go with it.
Okay.
Just keep going.
So then, maybe then in early August, then we are gonna have to go into August,
Ferris wheel.
right? This is
Yeah.
gonna be the challenge. Maybe it's a week after, like that first week in August, Brian.
If that's available, that's perfect. If that's when the town meeting would be, that works.
I think that's gonna be the only, like the
So
fourth,
we'd wanna see the select board schedule if they're meeting
Yeah,
on the 4th or the,
8, 4,
yeah.
or 5. I mean, and if not, maybe they would consider scheduling a meeting so we can
That's true.
include us,
right,
put it on their radar. Alright, so Rob, you're gonna coordinate with Bonnie on that?
Yeah, Yeah, Bonnie, you can just see what's available for the 23rd or 30th, and then I can reach out to the or I'll look up.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
there is to request.
Yeah, I can talk to Lynn also.
Okay, cool.
Thank
Great.
you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Of course, guys, you
No,
guys have a
thank
great
you.
day.
Thanks for being here today.
Yeah,
No
thank
problem.
you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
All right, great. Thanks for doing that, Rob.
Yeah.
So the next item on the agenda is the pilot payment in lieu of taxes committee. So I had reached out to, Nick Milano and just said, I thought a park commissioner should be added to that committee because obviously the field space that Milton Academy, Perry College have, you know, would be a payment in lieu of taxes in some ways if we're able to use those fields, so. He agreed, the select board voted to allow that, so, so we now need to vote on who will be appointed to that board. Which I would be happy to do.
Alan?
You what? Oh, yeah, I'll second.
Okay, so you're both,
those
you're
in favor?
motioning?
Yeah.
Yes, you're there.
All in favor?
Yes. You can't vote for yourself.
Oh, you can?
No.
No.
Okay, great.
So Rob, you're motioning to.
Steven motion.
Steve motion?
I
Okay.
second
I
it.
just wanted to make
There you
sure I
go.
got that right.
Done.
Perfect.
Great. So Lower Guile turf project, I know we've kind of touched on it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really know how and when executive session can or can't be used.
You can't use an executive session at all.
Ever.
Our Parks Commission.
Okay.
According to what I heard.
Okay. All right, so I think. Obviously, we're still waiting to hear back from the state. You know, I just don't wanna see this in a hamster wheel. For going on and on.
Me neither.
So I think, let's see what the state comes back with. Obviously, if they approve this, then, you know, I think it's worth having a conversation. With the now people and just see if we can try to come to some sort of resolution.
I guess.
It might not go anywhere, but
Yeah, I guess the question is. From like our standpoint, right, like you could have that conversation, or I could have one of us could have a conversation, it could absolutely go nowhere. Or we can do it in public session, right, which, what I will say is, I don't have. I'm probably the oldest member now, and I was part of the process, right? Like, so the three of us don't have any of the history as the board does, right? With this project, yes, we were engaged with the project, but I don't think we were through the process and how it went through. So that. I just think, you know, is it worth a shot? Because right now our hands are tied to like, just talk with them, and they might not even wanna do it, cause it's like through the, you know, it's in legal now. But is it worth? You know,
And what do you think you're gonna get from talking with them,
you never know.
you know?
You never know, you never know, like, listen, I would love to just say, or what do we, are you guys gonna appeal this in 30 days? What's the end goal?
Okay,
That's my.
yeah,
That's my feeling, is like, to talk to them. I really would love to know, like, what's the end goal for you guys, right? Like, at the end of the day, I would love to say too, that we now done all this. You know, did these folks also engage in this master planning process and understand how much of a lack of field space that we have, right? So I wanna at least be able to like, have a discussion with them to let them know what we've done to date. And where we have a deficit and what that project means to our deficit, right? And that's when I think, okay, this is a discussion. Would I be willing to say, hey, will you let this one go through? And if we were to do grass and we can make improvements here, at least helps us get to somewhere. There's always something to negotiate with folks that I think it's worth having a conversation, is all I'm gonna say. Right, at the end of the day, you never know, or we're gonna be in the continuous hamster wheel, and which, like, listen, maybe that is a good possibility, like these guys know that no one's budging anything. But I will tell you, I would absolutely expect them to appeal this in 30 days. Why wouldn't they not? They've already done it. So here we go again, right? And so, like you, when you have parents asking you every week, is this project going through? I say, yeah, it's gonna go through. We're gonna go out to bid. It's not. It's gonna be probably another year. That we're gonna continue to wait, right? So I think Carolyn, I think it's worth like reaching out to them, and if they would be willing to come to like this board again, we'd be willing to at least, I would be willing to like update them where we are with this, and then say, like, just have a conversation, like, you know, what's the end goal, right?
Yeah,
And if we can make that happen, great. If not, and they don't want to, then it's at least worth reaching out to them.
right. Yeah, I mean, is it your understanding that the state rules, they have an opportunity to appeal again? The state's gonna make another ruling, like at any point
It's
did
gonna
the
go to it.
appeals, did the appeals end?
It's gonna go, like, the only next possible step would be it goes to Superior Court.
And so then the Superior Court rules on this and then it's
That's
done.
But we know how the legal system is. Alright.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna think about that. CPC project updates.
I wasn't at the first one, I know it was last week, and I think we present Monday.
Yes.
So as you guys know, we have the Andrews Field project that's in.
Mm-hmm.
I put in one quick application for softball, and when we were down there, we were looking at the there's a cage that's CPC funded,
Mhm.
right? And then that includes the steps that we did last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then those get the softball board, which I'm no longer on, but those
Mhm.
guys were like, listen, we really wanna like study putting some kind of bleachers around the field. And I said, okay, well then maybe you guys should like plan for this while you're doing the cage and everything else that's around there. So we put in an application with Bill Madden, who's doing that work, to say, can you do this, like the design work for this, to look at it? So that we put that application in, it was quick, it was, I don't remember, I forget what the price, but what the cost was or whatever, it was definitely under 40 maybe, but because they need they also need a survey. For like the work that they're doing now, they need a
Mhm.
survey and stuff to get that work, so I believe that work's also included.
Okay.
In this, so we put it in.
Yeah,
What I will say, all CPC projects, there's $6 million worth of
that's what I was
CPC
gonna, that
projects.
was gonna be my next question is,
So anybody in the pool, $6
and
million.
the funding is
It's over $1 million.
a little
It's about
over $1 million.
It depends on state funding.
Do they do partial fundings?
Yeah, so I think but like the first year, when we set it up, that was the reason why I had pushed for this two-step process to have the eligibility application. So once we put in the eligibility application, now we can say, okay, well, here you have 6 million, now we only have 1 million. What can we do, guys, right? To like V your projects or like,
A little bit.
yeah,
So like technically CPC could say, all right, we're gonna give this softball project 20K this year.
yeah, or whatever.
And then we could reapply for the remainder the following year.
Any project, right?
Okay,
So like this project, you know, this is the Tucker project, I told Lisa, and I go, this is I love the project, but it's $300,000 plus. I didn't realize we already gave them, by the way, 100-something thousand for all
to
the
do their
work,
site work.
so that's 400,000 from CPC. So, yeah, so you basically, you barter with folks, but you gotta be careful because. Guess what, partial funding all these projects, if you don't get projects that finish, it's not really that good either.
Right, but then that funding would kick back to CPC. So like, let's say CPC partially funds a project, they give them 20K.
Mhm.
They have a timeline that they have to complete a project.
Mhm.
If they don't complete
Yeah.
that project, the money gets kicked back to CPC.
It does, but I don't
So
know.
far, that hasn't happened because it's so new.
We
Yeah.
have, what I will say is that's why I put in for the planning for the park. It's like, okay, here's a little bit of seed money, so you can do some work and continue the project going. And then fund the project, so that's happened successfully over years. Beverly Park Playground's one of them. It went through 3 rounds of CPC funding.
Okay.
Right, then we did the design work, they did it, and then they asked for some money, they held it. And then they came back last year, and then we finally funded it all. So Tucker may go through a similar.
Right.
thing. You know.
Okay.
But yeah,
And
I mean,
then
it's
the
gonna be
baseball
tough.
got submitted.
We did
Yeah.
submit, yes.
Okay,
Are
good.
you on the 22nd?
July
Sixth.
July 6th.
So I think. So it's baseball, softball, soccer, obviously with Andrews. Is that all of
That's
the
it.
rec?
Yeah.
So at some point we'll have to make, well, actually, we should find out, when is the funding application due? Is it September?
September. Yeah, I don't know the
It's,
date.
I don't know exactly, but it's.
This is September.
That's gonna come quick. It always sneaks up and you're like
The
trying to
20,
do it.
Rob, the 22nd, I may have a Babe Ruth Championship baseball game.
Okay.
Nice, nice.
I don't know.
Don't jinx it.
So there's a good chance that my game's Monday night, so.
If you're there, great. If not,
Okay,
not a big
I'm just
deal,
letting
then
you know.
I'll
Just let you know.
I'll literally, I'm not even gonna present it. Just gonna
Just
say,
tell-
this is
yeah.
the cost and whatever.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I gotta get that September deadline. So before then we should get approvals for your baseball, softball, and the turf. Well, obviously, we put forth the turf field, so we don't need to do that one, but for the other two, we would have to put a letter of support.
Okay,
Yeah,
who usually drafts that?
Bonnie usually, but
Yeah.
yeah, we would have to vote.
Green Kevin and.
Okay,
So that'll happen probably. We should put that on our agenda for next meeting.
What exactly, say that again?
The support letters
It's just support letters?
Support letters for CPC,
and for
which
Tucker.
we're here anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
And for Tucker.
Oh, and well, yeah, Tucker, we've already approved it tonight.
Right, so
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So that one's set.
Also on CPC, they're gonna start excavation next week on Pebbly.
oh, wow.
Oh,
Fabulous.
I will say. You remember the woman who was a neighbor who was here a while back, whatever, she reached out to me and asked me like where the plans are or whatever. I don't know, I think the only person that has it. I couldn't find it, I Googled it this morning. I think Bill Madden must have them,
Bill does. Yeah.
right? I can give them to her, I don't know why.
It'd be nice if we could, can Bill send those to Bonnie and we
then
can put them on the website?
Yeah, I know, it would be
Is that-
nice.
Right.
Is it
Typical
possible to do?
protocol?
Well, it's under Conservation Commission though. It's under the Conservation Commission, that land. So it's not technically our project, I believe. Again, here's something that like.
Something like that.
I have no idea.
One day you believe it, it's yours.
Yeah, and
Next,
then one,
it's-
yeah,
it's not.
it's something else.
Cause we
So-
just mowed it, like we would care for it, right?
Right,
And
yeah.
that was the extent of it.
Well,
Yeah.
I think
But-
it would be nice to have on the Park and Rec website.
Who does, is it on the, would it be under Conservation Commission? I think, remember in a town meeting, it was conservation land, but we voted to.
Right, that's.
For the
that's right.
school swap that we got that parcel,
So is that parks?
it's park.
Okay, so then
Yeah.
we should put, I think we
Yeah.
should, let me
Now-
reach out to Bill now.
now saying that-
Yeah,
You know. I
So-
think I know
Right.
things.
I actually asked this question the other day to Kevin too, remember
Yeah.
we were talking about abutter letters. I'm under the assumption that conservation had put out abutter letters originally, letting them know, the neighborhood know about the project. So I just wanna make sure that there's some type of communication that obviously neighbors are aware of what's taking place. I know some neighbors are aware about the fundraising, that it's actually, and they see the flags and they see things
that's it.
coned off now,
Yeah.
so, I haven't been part of that conversation, whether it was put out to abutters and all that information, so I'm not sure who I assume maybe Nick. I need to ask, or conservation, cause I mean, I'm assuming that took place before the swapping took place.
Well, that's
You
with,
know?
Jackie and Jan and,
Yeah,
Lisa.
so maybe we can
Yeah.
check with them. I feel like that we just.
They-
need to
they
make sure
live
that
right
that took
there.
Place.
Right.
In that neighborhood.
I had people like reaching out to me, you know, like, oh, you know.
Now, will will they put up like a, a big billboard that the construction company doing it? Will they put up kind of like a big billboard to say this is what's going in?
I don't know if that's part of the, scope of the work there, by putting like a rendition of what's
Right.
gonna look like.
Do you,
Right,
do
and
you
just
guys
kind
know,
of
do you guys know also, like, once you're putting that in, does that have to be like fenced off or anything?
Yeah, so we're gonna have, the environmental barrier all around it.
Okay.
Because it's big, it's up against the 100-foot buffer of conservation.
Okay,
And then they'll have to do temporary fencing around
yeah,
it.
for safety or whatever, we
Yeah.
should get a there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one,
Find it.
I have one
You
in the
got one?
office,
Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
so as soon
We
as
put
they're
it
done
down.
with the
Put it down.
excavation, I'll put it down there.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Great.
Alright, so you're gonna reach out to.
I'll reach out to
Chad
Bill and see
to
if I
get
can
it
get,
to Bonnie
yeah.
and.
You guys don't have it? You guys don't have it under your, like, the plans for it? No?
We've had different renditions, I don't,
That's
I want
the thing, I
the,
don't know which.
I
one
want the
they-
final. I don't
Okay,
wanna
I'll
put
reach out to
something
them.
up that has been changed.
Right.
I'll reach out to them.
Alright, anything else with CPC? Good,
Think so.
managers report?
Yeah, I'll go, cause I gotta meet Paul Kelly.
Yep.
So we're just prepping now for the summer in the sports clinics for the summer. So we start June 29th with all the summer programs. So that's moving along. I'll be down at the greenhouse at Cunningham. Yesterday I was there and today, just to clean up the house.
When that starts the 29th.
The 29th.
Yes. I
Um,
remember when my kids were in,
so
they loved it.
It's a lot, it's good.
Gary's got some work going on up there, but
He's
hopefully,
doing that entrance.
yeah.
Finally.
Let's just go like this, that it's before we start, but we'll work around it, as we always do.
Yeah.
I know, I apologize, I wasn't here the last meeting or two, but, the volleyball clinic went well.
Great.
So he wants to run another one, he got a lot of great input, we did too. So he wants to do another one in August, but I'll deal with that and see if he thinks he can work it out with the schools. It'll be hot, so I don't know, but I said the same thing about when he started it, if it was gonna get any legs, and it did, it took some traction, so. It's something that hopefully we can continue doing with,
Kids love volleyball.
yeah,
And
They love it.
he
Great.
pretty much
He
organizes
does
it,
it all.
we're just doing the.
that's it, we do all the
registration.
administration, yes.
Okay.
We put a high school kid up there just to check kids in, other than that, it's him and it's all his high school players.
That's great.
So it went great. I'm glad, because again, more programs if they work. Great. Lamar Reddick Summer Clinic starts on the 29th. That's the 1 week clinic he runs. 9 to 3 at the field house. And then he's got 2 sessions left in his Sunday night spring clinic that he's been running. For the next 2 Sundays, and the adult tennis ended last night. So we're in good shape. Just like I said, summer's a lot, but
Yeah, I was gonna say,
getting done.
I'm not gonna put you on the spot right now, but maybe at our next meeting, you can list out like all the programming.
I have them all,
That
yes.
we're doing
Absolutely,
this summer, just
Yeah.
so,
absolutely,
I think it's important for people to know.
sure,
That's great, and pretty much everything is sold out.
yeah, yeah. And the junior Wildcat then, which is ages 4 to 6, we picked up some traction there.
Yeah, I think the only thing is softball, it's not.
Yeah, softball probably won't,
Take it
and it's again, you just try it, you put it out there.
Yeah.
If it gets traction, it does, if not, you just don't run it, so I think I've only got 5 or 6, there's the guy I gotta go. I just have to meet Paul Kelly for all our shirts, he's outside.
Yeah.
But, all right.
Awesome, thanks,
You're
Paul.
welcome.
You're welcome.
You good with them?
I'm good, yeah, I'm gonna go down and move all the shirts into the truck.
All right.
Yeah, Paul, I know.
So we just finished, spring, you guys have wrapped up, right? You're all,
Spring is wrapped up.
yeah.
We actually, you probably know this, we start tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Summer ball.
Mary C and Andrew's back.
Yeah.
So summer program has started for baseball and softball. I thought the spring went fairly well. We didn't have that much rain
Actually, very little, it was
and
quite good.
Yeah, it kind of started off,
Especially,
It was cold the whole time.
Yeah.
And really wet in the sense of misty, but we never lost games because of it.
like the softball field at Kelly, I thought was a huge success.
with the stone dust,
Absolutely. Yeah,
awesome.
made a huge difference.
oh yeah, it was great.
You know,
Kelly Field.
took a while, but
It's well lit.
the end result, it's,
That's great,
it's,
it looks nice.
yeah,
I mean, with the
it really does.
dugout and
Um,
everything,
And that's really all I have right now, guys, for me.
Right.
and fields are all good and.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing work all summer to the soccer fields, trying to put Band-Aids on them,
Yeah.
as we normally do.
Yeah.
The worn out patches from where the goalie
Places.
stands at all the time,
Okay.
we'll be trying to grow grass there.
Yeah,
It's tough to grow grass during the summer,
Yeah.
but we do have
It's starting
irrigation
to
there.
get, we can start seeing the lawns go yellow now, brown.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they're,
But
we need rain.
we do attempt it, and the summer is good, like Milton Academy, they completely rest their fields.
right,
We try to,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good
Yeah.
luck.
right,
it's hard, you
Yeah.
can't police it, but they're definitely getting a rest
yeah,
from their normal,
In the summer.
yeah.
yeah.
Which is tough though.
And so they'll look good at the beginning of the fall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, we'll see what happens.
We should pick out our
Awesome.
next meetings.
And also on the new
Oh.
business, I just want to mention, that Lynn put on my radar. Too late, because we had already posted the meeting, but, Ted Carroll was on the wharf committee before, so
Oh.
next meeting, we're gonna need to appoint somebody to the landing committee.
Okay,
So.
The new guy, put the new guy in.
Steve, you love the boy.
That's right.
They don't
You
need-
like that,
Yeah.
you like the warp, right? You like water.
all right, that's great. Anything else, new business?
Let's see what else you got in business.
I don't think so, not right now. All right, so do we wanna try and figure out our next meeting?
Or here's the thing. Do we hold off? Because we have 2 meetings coming up for the July and August. And then I guess my other question is, the August at the select board, is that our whole board meeting with the board? I think we should.
I think we should.
I think it should be the whole board. It'd be a collected parts with the select board.
Yeah.
And then we'll be all there for the community meeting. So maybe we don't. What I'm gonna suggest is like, that we meet again in September, if that's okay, and then have these 2 other meetings.
All right, well, we have to appoint someone to the wharf.
We could do that now. Oh, we can't do that now.
Yeah,
Well, could we just put it?
I don't think it's like, right, this.
Yeah, maybe you
Okay.
could wait till September.
It's, yeah, I just was putting it on the radar for the next agenda, whenever the next.
Okay.
meeting.
Is the select board asking you guys to come in, or you're just,
We're
choosing.
we're choosing to
Okay.
go to them.
I just didn't know if they asked, that's all.
Yeah. I think at one point, I wanted to present at town meeting the planning, but now this is like,
Yeah.
just to present to the select board.
Yeah,
To kind of let them know where we're at. And
all right, so, I mean, I guess. We're
Unless you
hoping
want-
to do a community meeting the 23rd or the 30th.
Yeah,
And then we're hoping to meet with the select board on the 4th or 5th.
we could do
Of
it in
August.
July if you wanted to.
I mean, I almost would say tentatively,
Not tentatively, let's just commit if you were gonna put it in.
well,
Actually, I don't know if you're going here, but whatever day we do the
right,
community meeting,
yeah,
Do it on that.
do it the same day.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
That's where you're going with.
Yeah.
okay, I get it.
cause that's not a problem, right, Bonnie? If we did that,
Couldn't we just put like something on the agenda for the community meeting, like two points or something?
yeah,
You'd start like a half hour early.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking,
Yeah,
to start
that's all.
like half an hour
Right.
early.
Say the meeting's at
We can do-
6, you meet at 5:30.
Right,
And you do your, whatever we have to
right,
get done,
yeah,
and then start the
Yeah.
community meeting.
perfect. All right,
I actually think July 30th would be better if that works for folks. Just, I'm worried about getting back to the 23rd.
well, maybe we can see if July
July.
30th is the.
If you,
If
if that would
we
be my
can't-
priority.
Yeah, if we can't
Right.
get July 30th, then,
Then we'll look at the other.
Yeah.
all right,
I'm
great,
supposed to be on a cruise,
yeah, well, you know.
but I'm working.
This is more important.
Carolyn, but I'm working. So,
Okay,
All right,
that's what these.
motion to adjourn,
yes.
Second.
all in favor? Aye.